This is an ad by Regain Couples Therapy and features real testimonials.
This was our first time trying therapy, and honestly, it was long overdue. Looking back, we just wish we had started sooner.
Regain's qualified therapists help couples when they can't get there on their own.
We thought it was intimacy issues, but Andrea helped us uncover a deeper root cause we hadn't even realized was there.
Visit regain.com/couplespod to get 10% off your first month. Regain, couples therapy that works.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F-words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/zip to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/zip.
Always follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Happy Friday. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Action-packed 3-hour program coming up today. Great guest, Major League Baseball. First 5K numbers with Kevin Rogers in 30 minutes. Best bets on the UFC card with Lou Finocchiaro. Chris Macero on the program. Cross-sport parlays, NFL, and college football futures. And Jonathan Von Tobel on the NBA Summer League. Paulie, how you feeling today?
All right.
Good. Everything's all right?
All right.
Fired up for the weekend?
I'm glad I didn't pay $3,000 to watch Flag and Bronny James last night.
You're probably not the only one.
Fun. Yeah.
I'm going to guess that people who did are regretting that decision, and that probably happened as soon as the game was over with.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
10 points?
5 of 20, right? Did Dallas make a mistake? Did you see any of that?
I was hoping that people would actually say that on social media last night.
Now, why not after last night? But we got it with Wemby.
We got it with Wemby right away a couple years ago.
I don't get it. What was Dallas thinking here? Come on, 5 of 20 shooting.
Like, they had to take him? Flag. He should have stayed at Duke. What was he thinking? Came out way too early here. He's not ready for the NBA.
Yeah.
But, that angle where we talked about it at the end, we should have been stronger on that, but we did bring it up. Also, it was very difficult for me to find his points prop listed at books here in Nevada before the game. That goes back now, that's 11 straight years where, because his prop was 18.5, 19.5 at some books anyway that offered it. It's at least 11 straight years, Paulie, where the number one pick in the draft has not gone over 18.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 of 21, not a great showing from him. I think the other stuff is what you're going to get a lot of during his rookie year. He might not go for 25 every game, clearly, but I think it's going to be like that stat sheet stuffer, where he's going to have 8 rebounds, 5 assists, a couple of steals, and maybe a block or 2 as well.
Right, which what he did at Duke, so his player props are going to be interesting. Because you're talking about, because you get 8 boards, 5 dimes, a steal, and a block, absolutely. As he said, just winning plays and winning basketball after the game. And they hung on to get the win.
Yeah. Okay, so what'd you make earlier today with the semis over at Wimbledon on the men's side? I'd say we had a little bit of drama with the early match. Fritz and Alcaraz, although Carlos advanced in 4 sets, and then 0 drama in the last match. And if you didn't see it, Chris Fowler and John McEnroe, they were talking about it during the broadcast pretty much the entire time, and it was visible, obviously, when you were watching it. Joker was not even close to 100% today. He couldn't get the balls. The returns were not there. Old Joker, that stuff doesn't happen. So Sinner was dominant. And now the number on the match, definitely shop around, because here at Circa, Alcaraz in the finale is minus 125. DK has a minus 130. FanDuel is as high as minus 137 in the match, Paulie.
I have $1.60, which I played when it looked like Sinner was going to have issues against Shelton because of the injury after he was down 2-0 against Dimitrov. So Your earlier point about Joker, 38 years old, he said afterwards, hopefully this isn't it, but up there in age. But I still like Alcaraz, and it's fitting that they meet again after the choke job and what happened at the French with an all-time bad beat if he had Sinner and the 66-1 in play on Alcaraz. But he would have his sixth title at the age of 22. He's 5-0 in major finals and going for his third straight Wimbledon. I'm going to take the guy who's won 24 matches in a row. And I know...
you don't want the revenge angle from when... No, you don't? Sinner blew it?
No. So he was the best there, but he absolutely blew it and should have won. But I don't know how big the surface is and how much of that plays a role into things with looking at this. But I think it's more advantageous for Alcaraz here. But I like what Zach Cohen said. You know, he was right that Fritz got a set. He does play with his food a little bit. And as far as the drama, I mean, that's a fourth set tiebreaker. If Fritz is able to steal a couple points there, we'll go in 5 sets. So I'm not in love with it because certainly the elbow injury doesn't appear to be a problem at all.
No, he's been dominant the last 2 matches.
What
but
he's
again,
done.
that also, I mean, Joker clearly, again, banged up a little bit today
for
the match. Overall, they have met 12 times on the ATP Tour. Alcaraz leads 8-4. He has won 5 straight matches over Sinner, by the way. The surface breakdown looks like this. On hard courts, Alcaraz is up 5-2. On clay, 3-1. On grass, Sinner 1-0 lifetime. Grand Slams, Alcaraz leads 3-1, and in finals, it's the same mark there. So like I said, it's 5 straight wins when these two meet for Carlos Alcaraz. They first met, but there's actually a photo that I retweeted before the show. This is incredible. They met like when they were 15 years old. You should see how young they look. It's remarkable. I retweeted at Mitch Moss Radio right before the show started. But on the ATP Tour, they met at the 2021 Paris Masters, and Alcaraz won that. He was number 35 in the world at that time. Sinner was number 9. And that really, I think, was maybe probably not the first time, but in that area where like, oh boy, this guy is going to be something special. Then Sinner won 2022 Wimbledon. And then he won again on clay in 2022. At the U.S. Open, they met in the quarters. That's when Alcaraz beat him. They played at Indian Wells. They met a little bit all over the place. So there's the history of those two. But here's the deal, right?
Long could be a long match. I hope.
So do I.
That was an all-timer at the French, but I'm hoping for drama and maybe 5 sets. You can bet the other way, no drama. Sinner in straight sets is 5-1. Alcaraz is plus 450, and this just happened with Iga. Will someone win a set 6-love? 6-0 is plus 950. That's available.
Okay. Well, Luke was saying, our producer, that as soon as Alcaraz advanced today, DK posted up like the money line for the Wimbledon championship match, and he was $2. Mm-hmm. And so now it's down to minus 125 here at Circa anyway. But I think certainly with Sinner's recent play now in the last 2 matches with what you said, Paulie, correlated here, the injury doesn't appear to be impactful at all right now.
Yeah. Yep. I'll trust the winning streak, though. You're right. You have the revenge angle? That's fine.
No,
this is how it's supposed to be. Because remember, when we previewed the tournament with Nigel, you had like plus 150 and plus 175 with these guys to win. So this is what was supposed to happen.
So let me ask you this then. If you like Alcaraz here, betting him straight at this number, you said you have him at minus 160. Would you want to add another bet on him right now? And because you were very strong on Iga yesterday on the show, do you want to parlay him with Iga?
Yeah, I did that.
You did already?
I did that at Will Hill.
Okay.
I think that's. I'll look at what the price is. Yep.
That's got to be. That's definitely plus money.
Yeah, she was 240 when I bet it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that'll happen. I just think it's just too much to where you shock the number 1 player and then you got to come back and then beat someone else who's talented in top 10. I just think that's too big of an ask, especially for someone who was with that ranking and was out of the racket, but plays plus 150, who was out of the game for a year. So. But it'd be a great story, and another big ticket would cash for the women's draw if that happens.
I'd like to be able to bet on the time of the match on the men's side. Because when they met at the French Open, it was more than 5 hours, one of the longest matches in history. Would you take, if I set it at 3.5 hours, what would you want to do?
I'd go over that.
You would?
Yeah.
Is that wishful thinking?
Don't you think then we'll have a 7-6, go to tiebreaker at least, and 1 tiebreak? You can bet that too.
I mean, I would say that there's a good chance this is going to go to 5 sets.
Yeah, right. I prefer this back to the old days, right? I want to see long rallies.
Oh,
I want to see
100%.
great. You know, when we were growing up, it was Sampras. Agassi did that, but Sampras, Ivanisevic, it was just the serves were too good.
Yep.
And there were no rallies, especially with Ivanisevic, who wasn't, guys like that. But this is, I like to see it where you get the 16, 17-shot rallies like we had with a couple of Joker matches.
I mean, that's what makes the matches so exciting, right? I mean, the ace after the ace nonsense is, that's no fun for anybody to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's domination when a guy's going to go out there and serve it that fast and blow by you and you have no chance to, respond. However, it doesn't make it very pleasing to the eyeballs.
Yeah. But this is why we love sports. Crazy things happen. Upsets happen. Look what happened in the Scottish Open. This guy got her up. Never heard of him. Nine birdies today. Guy shot a 61. He's your leader after 2 rounds. So it's a pretty cool leaderboard, but stories like that, and that's why we love this racket.
I would say the weather is definitely cooperating over at that tournament, but that course, to me, looks absolutely beautiful on television. Like, that would be an awesome event to be at in person right now.
Yeah.
To soak that in.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. How about this? Our buddy, our 2 friends of the show here, Nigel Seeley, and then Evan, they're together this weekend. And they're watching all this stuff unravel at Wimbledon.
Would you wear a suit? How about the people who show up dressed like that? It's 87 degrees, too.
Yeah.
Apparently they're dropping like flies.
Well, actually, Luke, do we know, what's the dress code?
You wear a suit to a tennis match and it's 90 degrees?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that, which I think Bradley Cooper did that a couple times.
Tom Cruise,
but,
all the time.
I don't know. There was just one guy. It was a ton of people that were doing it.
What are you going to show up in a tank top?
Well, I'm not going to wear a suit. I wear that, put a polo on, something like that.
You're going to be
right?
having ice cream sundae dripping off your mouth?
Got that, right? Yeah, you have the Mariners last night, huh? You have that one, too?
Oh, God.
How about that? How about Mariners and under? 5-0, getting no hit in the 8th, and the Yankees come back and win 11 straight overs. Get our NFL betting guide, over 90 pages, in-depth previews of every team, division breakdowns, best bets, player props, betting projections. Lock it in, our football special, 175 through the Super Bowl, every guide, every best bet, every host, every guest, the video, the dog videos, the data, and the tools. It expires at the end of the month. We're a couple weeks away from an actual game. Chargers, Lions, July 31st. Get it up. Get in there now, vsin.com/subscribe. Tell your family, tell your friends.
Well, I'll tell you this. For people who want to add more and more football bets to the portfolio, the guide, obviously, we recommend that as much as anything else that you're going to find. And later on today, when Chris Massero comes in, I asked him a couple of ideas to kick around on the show today. I think he sent me a text that was the size of the Bible. And he had, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm attacking in terms of the bets. I'm like, okay, that's good. That's got a lot of stuff there, pal.
Yep.
So you're going to love that when he comes up in about 90 minutes here on the program. We'll get into the Major League Baseball card coming up next. His numbers are at home are pretty much as good as it gets. Find out who it is next on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. That's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter.com/zip.
This is an ad by Regain Couples Therapy. Let's be honest. Loving your partner doesn't mean you always like them, and guess what? That's normal. Regain offers couples therapy that's flexible, affordable, and 100% online. Whether you're reconnecting or working through conflict, Regain is here to support you both. See why people wish they'd try couples therapy sooner. Visit regain.com/couplespod to get 10% off your first month. That's regain.com/couplespod.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Thanks for checking in. We're live in Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Busy hour coming up in 15 minutes. We'll go over some power ratings in the National Football League. Bottom of the hour, Chris Massaro in studio, give out some football futures at that time. And here we talk, we'll get an NFL future, a win total, and UFC best bets as that sports in Nashville this weekend. As a longtime friend of the show, Lou Finocchiaro joins us now on the Progressive Guest Line. Good afternoon, Uncle Lou. How are you today?
Doing great, guys. Thanks so much for the UFC time on a Friday. Love it.
You bet. I want to begin here. I'm getting my hair cut last week, and my stylist, she likes to take her time. So every time it's like 45 minutes. I'm like, my God, this is taking forever. Anyway, she's a nice woman, and we get along quite well. She had on, randomly that night, she had on the UFC channel, and there was a collage of Derek Lewis fights, right, in his career. And it was one right after another. And every single time before the fight would start, they'd put up the odds, and he's a massive dog for the most part. And he just would knock the daylights out of the opponent. I'm like, oh my God, he's fighting coming up next week. I got to bet this guy's a huge dog again. And then you look at the overall record. Well, hold on a second. He's 3-4 in his last 7 fights, and he hasn't fought in a while. But I can't get that loop of fights out of my head. Is that a mistake as I approach it from a betting standpoint?
Not at all. In fact, Mitch, he's on the main event because he is the all-time KO king in the UFC history. So he's the guy with the power in his hands, and that never leaves, even a 40-year-old heavyweight, which is what Derek Lewis is. I'll also say this. If Derek Lewis was so serious about being a contender, he's now 40. When he was 35, he should have weighed 260, 261, but he always come in at 266, 1 pound over the limit. Today, 261. So 40, he's serious. He's at the end of his wick. He knows he needs to keep making a living. I think we're going to get the best version of the beast that we've seen in some time. The issue is he's fighting a kid that's 15 years younger, 5 inches taller, longer, and a finisher himself. Now, this young, tall Brazilian that he's fighting, Teixeira, has never been into the 3rd round. He's extremely inexperienced, and I think a good, ferocious body attack by the Beast could really soften this kid up. And I lean to Derek Lewis a little bit. I really like the fight to start round 2, and that's obviously a prop that you can get anywhere outside of Nevada. In Nevada, you have to go over the 1.5. I still lean that way. I think these two guys are going to be competitive for a while. Lewis is the one that has championship experience that's been into the 3rd or 4th round. Not that this fight's getting there, but I do think it'll take a little while for one guy to finish the other. And I think Derek Lewis is a decent bet here.
You like Charrier a lot, too, and you don't lay this because he's minus 250. But would you want to tie those two together in a parlay and shoot for the stars?
Yeah, we used Charrier. Actually, we used Charrier straight up in this card, and that's unusual. I usually take a favorite like that, and I will parlay him, Paul. But in this case, I like him straight. He fights this guy, Nate the Train Landwehr, who is really the epitome of blood and guts for a UFC fighter. He fights out of Clarksville, Tennessee. So the crowd will be his, but he's 37, 4 years older, slower, all will, might, power. But the other kid from France, Charrier, is all quickness, athleticism, and deft striking. If Charrier can get this thing into the 2nd round, I think Nate slows down so bad, and if you sneeze on him, you put 5 stitches on his cheek. It'll be a bloody mess. This fight card will be as violent as any fight card in 2025.
All right, good sell job. All right, sit back. Here comes the news. I believe in all the years we've talked to you and interviewed you, this is the biggest dog you've ever released on the program. So Murphy's fighting, and the over is minus 280 over 2.5 rounds. So it looks like we're going the distance. Murphy plus 450 and Murphy plus the points. What's the breakdown here? Can't wait.
The breakdown here is that Murphy's 41. She hasn't fought in 2.5 years. And so everyone's looking at this real young Brazilian fighter. Oh, Brazilian fighter, just 2-1 in the UFC, albeit her last fight was a good win. But she's inexperienced and she's earning her way. She steps up big time with Lauren Murphy. Now, most of the analytics people are going to say, oh, she's 41. She's already talking about retirement because this is her last fight. She's acknowledged that. But it's her last fight because she fought so poorly in her last fight against Andrade. Lauren Murphy is a junkyard dog. She's not coming back here to embarrass herself. I believe that 2.5 rounds over is the right call in a highly competitive fight. I'm going to take Lauren Murphy because of who she's been in with, her legitimate, mean junkyard dog disposition, and the fact she's coming back to get business settled, not to ride off into the sunset. I really like Murphy here straight. I also like Murphy on the points handicap plus 3.5 points plus 140. Boy, that's one that I'd really have people do what they can do to find.
Very good.
Okay.
Got to help you cash that one. Absolutely. How about another dog? Not as big, but still. Tokos plus 140 in that range.
This is a half-unit bet for an earlier fight on the fight card. Tokos is the legitimate 205-pound fighter, longer, taller, and fighting in the division. He takes on Junior Tafa, who just got beat up in the heavyweight division. This is Tafa's first fight at 205. He made the weight okay, but his last fight 6-7 months ago was 241. I believe Tafa's had a trouble fighting that weight cut. He's done so much to get to this point. I don't know if he's going to have much left for this Tokos, who not only is a striker, but has wrestling also. And that's the difference between the two. Tokos is a well-rounded mixed martial artist, and Tafa's just a slugger.
All right, one more. Give me Jake Matthews plus 140. How do you see this fight?
Chidi and Njokuani missed weight today. It's the second time he's missed weight at 170. He can't fight at 85 because the guys are too big and strong, and he can't make weight at 70. I believe Chidi fought hard to make weight, didn't do it, and that's just the recipe that Matthews needs because Matthews is durable and he is tough. He isn't really excellent at anything, but if he takes this fight into the second round, I think he holds great advantage over Chidi, who usually runs out of gas, let alone after struggling so hard with a weight cut. Matthews plus 135.
Very good. Do you have a best bet? I know you mentioned the 1/2 unit play that you have, but of all the other ones that you brought up, are they all like equal size, or is there one that you really, really like?
Yeah, I like them all the same.
Okay.
They're like my children, Mitch, but I like Murphy a good deal this weekend.
You don't have a favorite child? Come on. I find that hard to believe.
No, sir.
Just joking. Okay, NFL. You have been amazing with us the last couple of years with win totals, and we'll get more of these as the summer progresses and you do a little bit more diving into the numbers and everything like that. But you want to share one that you like already, and it's with the Dallas Cowboys. How do you want to attack their win total?
I want to take it under. Listen, Dallas is a team that is going to be benefited by a +5 in the net rest in their schedule, which is 7th best in the NFL. But really, that's very much front-loaded. A traditional strength, their line is now ranked 16th, and it's been waning the last few years. You add a little bit of Dak inconsistency and the fact that he's been hurt. Listen, last year, first 9 weeks with Dak, okay? Yards per completion, 30th in the NFL. EPA for rushing, 23rd in the NFL. 20th in rushing success, 27 yards post, or 2.7 yards post contract, 27th in yards after contact, 31 explosive rate. You get the gist. This Dallas Cowboy team is really lacking talent. And now when I go on to the defensive side or their concerns, besides Dak and injuries, how about their first coordinators, first year offensive, first year defensive, first year head coach? That always takes a little time. Yes, we understand that Schottenheimer was with them last year, but that's still a new coach. The running backs are ranked 32nd in the NFL. Their defensive backs, 27th in the NFL. I really think that the Cowboys weeks 11 to 13 play 3 games in 10 days. Only one in the schedule that does it. And then the next week they play Minnesota, making it 4 and 17. Philly, Kansas City, Detroit, and Minnesota in those last weeks, all with short rest. Dallas will start out gangbusters, but they won't win 8 games this year. I think this is a combustible Dallas team, and it's going to implode early.
Very good. Would you dabble in any alternate win total markets with them as well? Would you look to play like under 7.5 or maybe even under like 7?
I'd go as far as to tell you that at 20-1, they're not a bad choice for the worst team in the NFL.
Holy smokes. Wow. Now we're talking that bad, you think, huh? Potentially.
I think it's going to be really bad in Dallas. I just don't see what they got there that's going to make them competitive, especially when you look at not only their division, but the last half of their schedule.
Yeah. You think they could finish in last place, obviously, with that remark then, in their own division behind the Giants, potentially?
I think that's entirely possible.
Wow.
I really do. I just don't. I mean, what makes us have any confidence in Dallas that they got one great wide receiver and they just overhauled the wide receiver room?
A good point.
Who's the tight end? What about the waning line? And where's the defense and the toughness on the defense? That front seven got run all over last year. I just think Jerry's saving money, but he isn't bringing a winner to the folks in Big D.
Follow him on X at GamLou. Read his write-ups every week at vsin.com. Thanks, Uncle Lou. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks for having me, guys. Great show. I'm watching the rest.
Thank you. NFL Power Ratings next. Where do we agree or disagree? We'll discuss coming up here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
This is going to be a lot of fun. Professional sports bettor Chris Massaro joins the program. He is live in studio in town betting horses. And how about this, Paulie? We're taking his afternoon away from him. What, you're betting horses at Saratoga?
Yeah, I am alive though in the late pick 5, and we had a nice price in the second leg. There was a 14-1 horse, but it was only a 6 or 7 horse field, and every other horse was 7-2 or less. So it's going to pay a lot bigger in the pick 5. So
okay,
we'll see what happens. You know, I got 2 legs left. I'm not worrying about it. I'm worrying about the show right now. I'm excited.
Okay, you got a lot. Okay, let's remind people here. You came on. You've been on the show several times and on the network several times as well. You came on before the Super Bowl, and you said, look, this is what I'm going to do. You love the Eagles. You love their team total on an alt number to go over. And that was one of the legs that you were going to give out. And then you were talking about some teams to win the national title in college basketball. Florida was one of them. And then another key leg here was going to be Oklahoma City to win the West, right?
Correct.
So that one specific parlay did hit, and you hit it for $60,000.
Yeah, full disclosure, I did bet multiple teams in college basketball, but based on my system and how I figure out who I think is going to win the college basketball tournament, and the system has been pretty solid, and everyone knows the KenPom ratings and things along those lines, but having veteran players, guards, certain coaches, and this little combination of a pot that I put together, I've been able to hit the college basketball winner like 7 out of the last 8 years. But this was before the cross-sport parlay thing, came to fruition, and Circa and DraftKings and FanDuel and allowing you to do this type of stuff. So I just thought on that day, I really liked the Eagles. I really thought they were going to kill the Chiefs, and I thought it was time for someone to surpass Mahomes, great as he is. I just thought that was just an opportunity where I really didn't see the Chiefs stopping Philly. And I didn't think they'd score that many points because you couldn't even get more. That was the second. There was one other higher alt you could have gotten, but that was the second highest one, and it went over no problem. And now you're sitting pretty good. And we had Duke, Houston, Florida, Maryland, and there was one other one. There was 5 of them that I gave out. And then we had a little stress with OKC, but the OKC factor was they were always going to be the favorite the whole way, even to win the West. And you could obviously hedge. So I did. I came on Humans and Tim's show, and I did hedge back. I probably lost about $10,000 in the process on the way, but I still made about a $50,000 profit.
Very
on that
good.
bet.
Okay, so now people want to do this for football coming up, obviously, right? and you can take this any direction you want, but what do you have in terms of like favorite legs or favorite futures that you've keyed on right now? It could be a team to win a conference in college football. It could be a team to get the 1 seed in the NFL. What are you attacking at this point?
Well, what happened was the last month I was back east, so I was available to have access to DraftKings at my beck and call the whole time. So what I was doing was, when I'm betting regularly, if I'm betting a game, like just for example, last night the Yankees game, and you saw Portnoy complaining about, oh my God, I had Seattle, I had so much money on it. Well, you had so much money on it, but in the 8th inning, Seattle was plus 1,800 in the game. So I'm not saying, I mean, a guy like that who bets 20,000, 50,000, whatever he bets per game, I'm not saying you're going to put, $100 on it. He might put more. But if I'm betting $500 on the Seattle Mariners and they're up 5-0, people can say this is dumb or not, but I do this all the time, and it alleviates the bad beat. You put $50 or whatever amount you're comfortable with on a live side against you, and then you add it to a future parlay that you like. So I had Sam Burns a few weeks ago, probably like 6 weeks ago. We're up at Saratoga. He had the lead. He was going to win. He was going to win the playoff, but Ryan Fox stole it from him. So what I did the whole time, because I had a ticket like 150 to make 4,500 on Sam Burns, I was betting Ryan Fox in-game parlays the whole time, and I was tying him to Clemson, Alabama, Yankees division, because I have a Red Sox ticket for division, and I'm not sold on Tampa or Toronto. So that's what I do. So what ends up happening is over time, you might have a bad beat on your daily bet, but you know what? You're getting crazy plus money on parlays to teams that you're going to be betting anyways for the future. So I started my college football handicapping this year with 2 teams I really liked from big-time conferences, big-time programs at double-digit odds that I think are definitely going to make the playoffs, and that's Alabama and Clemson. The question with Alabama is the quarterback, is he legit? Ty Simpson, we don't know. A friend of mine was at the Manning passing camp. He said he was solid. He wasn't one of the top 5 guys there, but he was solid. There was no big question mark with him. So I'm on Alabama, and I built a bunch of parlays up already. So I'm close to 6 figures on Alabama, closing to them. Not as much on Clemson so far. Another team brings back everyone. No question at quarterback. Receivers are lights out. They have the second best ranked offensive line and defensive line in Phil Steele's book. Their question is the defensive backfield. They're very weak in the defensive backfield, so that scares me a little bit. But receivers, running backs, offensive line, defensive line, quarterback. I know you guys aren't big Dabo fans, but playing in the ACC, this is just this is an SEC team playing in the ACC. There are some other good ACC teams, but this team stands head and shoulders above the rest.
You would think you'd be higher on Clemson than Bama, though, right? Because of the conference, though.
Yes and no, but I feel that Alabama, if you look at their schedule, they're going to be favored in every game except one. The one game is at Georgia. I don't think they're going to keep Alabama out of the playoff again. And Alabama has more chances to mess up and get back in than Clemson does. Granted, Clemson has an easier path to the championship game. I like both teams. I liked how Clemson was playing at the end of last year. I thought Klubnik grew up in the playoff. The Texas game, they had him. So I'm big proponents of both teams. So those are the 2 teams I started with, and then we can kind of roll into what else I'm doing, looking for value, where I could have those 2 teams hopefully at 6 figures each going into the playoff.
They're your anchors, basically.
They're my anchors.
Okay.
And then I'll spend a few thousand on other teams, so that I can go in and try to make a $50,000 profit on the college football playoff.
Did it last year with Boise? Boise was a huge ticket on Boise, and if they win that first game,
I had Boise. I also the biggest ticket I had. Unfortunately, they didn't make the playoff because they lost to Florida in the last game. Was
I would have cried. Oh my God!
Ole Miss.
Don't remind me.
I had 125,000 closing Ole Miss on very little bets. It was just future parlays, big odds that came through, and they were kind of big odds to start the season. I mean, what a loaded team! I mean, they got Dart was a high pick to the Giants. Receivers getting drafted. They had the defensive lineman that got drafted high. They had a loaded team. Kiffin, he makes some questionable decisions, and they just had the Dart had a really bad day that day. So I wasn't really able to hedge that ticket. I probably should have had a little bit more in Florida that day.
Okay, and you were saying before the break, because Paulie asked you about Alabama before we came on the air, and you're like, oh my God, if they had a proven quarterback that people knew, You said they'd be easily the number one team in the country?
I think they would. I just, we can segue a little bit. I'll go back to my other teams that I like for the championship. But I'm super high on Ryan Williams for Heisman. I bet him at 40-1 at a couple places. It's down to 35-1 here. I mean, he's a human highlight reel. As a freshman who should have still been in high school last year, was making the most ridiculous, like Fred Biletnikoff type plays in the biggest games. And I think Jalen Milroe was kind of a detriment to his production. He only had 48 catches, 835 yards. He had 8 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns rushing. So I think with the new offensive coordinator, the old offensive coordinator that DeBoer had at Washington coming in, Grubbs, that this offense is going to really take off. And I think he's going to be the focal point of the offense. And I don't think there's a more electric player in the country. And at 40-1, if things go well, I think the brand recognition, the name recognition he had from last year, he's more likely to win the Heisman than Ty Simpson would. And at 40-1, I think it's a really solid bet. He's going to be on TV every week. He's going to be making spectacular plays. I'm very high on Ryan Williams.
How about some long shots then that you like?
Do you want to go long shots for the teams?
Both.
Or the?
Go ahead.
Okay.
You can go rapid fire here.
Yeah, we'll just go rapid fire for the Heisman. So, and this isn't a real huge long shot, but I do like John Mateer at Oklahoma. He's coming in with his OC from Wazoo, Ben Arbuckle. Oklahoma.
Phil Steele loves Oklahoma.
Yeah. So do I. Oklahoma has no problems on defense. The problems are on offense, and you're bringing in a electric quarterback, 65% completion percentage, huge touchdown to interception ratio. Some other long shots. You got Miller Moss at Louisville, electric offense. Amazing running back, Isaac Brown, huge freshman year. They got 2 stud receivers coming in transfer. They get a full slate of offensive linemen. Their question is defense is going to be a lot of high-scoring games, probably 37 to 40 points a game they're going to be averaging. So Miller Moss, we all saw what he did at USC. Some other big-time long shots. Darian Mensah at Duke was a terrific freshman at Tulane. He's 200-1 down at Westgate. Mekhi Hughes, also from Tulane. He got shipped up to Oregon. He's going to be the lead back for the Ducks. He's also 200-1. Some really long bombers. Our old friend Diego Pavia, he's 300-1. Name recognition. They have a lot back. Not many receivers, but an awesome tight end who's all world, one of the best in the country. And a crazy one I threw in just for my dad because he was in the Navy. So Blake Horvath, 500-1. I just threw a little pizza money on that because, hey, they got an easy schedule early. And they got a great offense. They got a bunch of returning guys, and when those quarterbacks return after multiple years, the option teams are really do well.
There you go. Not afraid to tie up money for the football season.
Let's go.
Absolutely not. There you go. It's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Chris Massaro. That was a Gatling gun, as always, which is awesome. He's in studio. Another segment here. We'll get into the NFL as well. We went over power ratings in the previous segment. Let's just say that Philadelphia is not your number one team. You're very strong on somebody. He'll tell you who that is coming up next here on VSiN.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. That's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter.com/zip.
This is an ad by Regain Couples Therapy and features real testimonials.
This was our first time trying therapy, and honestly, it was long overdue. Looking back, we just wish we had started sooner.
Regain's qualified therapists help couples when they can't get there on their own.
We thought it was intimacy issues, but Andrea helped us uncover a deeper root cause we hadn't even realized was there.
Visit regain.com/couplespod to get 10% off your first month. Regain, powered by BetterHelp.
This This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
With NFL in a minute, professional sports bettor Chris Massaro is with us in studio. He ran down a lot of his bets, who he's high on in college football in the previous segment. We did not finish everything, though, there in college. You wanted to talk about some more teams that you bets on?
Yeah, I just want to give you an example of how I kind of find some value and hope that one or two of these teams finds a way into the playoff at huge odds, and I think there's some possibilities. Let's go with Oklahoma first. I remember many Saturdays last year, you guys talking, Tim Murray talking, how depleted this offensive line was. They lost all 5 starters at one game or another. They had 13 or so different combinations at offensive line. They had all 5 of their top 5 receivers out at some point through the season, and 3 of them missed the whole year. This defense was absolutely elite. I saw a stat in Phil Steele's book that said that they limited opposing teams on average to 87 yards below what they would usually produce. And in the SEC, that is a ridiculous number. This defense is going to be stout. The biggest problem was obviously the offense. They couldn't get anything going, a lot of it due to injuries. But now, bring in Mateer, bring in Ben Arbuckle from Washington State, a combo pack, and you're getting all these receivers back. The line is, they brought in 2 transfers from Stanford, so they have a combined 111 starts on the offensive line compared to a team last year that was decimated, had no returning starts. So very high in Oklahoma. You can get them at 100-1. Different shops, shop around. It's weird. They had 60-1 at Circa, and Mateer was 30-1 here, but Westgate had 100-1 at Oklahoma, and Mateer was only 18-1. So you got to shop around. It's part of the job. Louisville, another team. This team is getting Miller Moss, like I was mentioning earlier, electric backfield, electric receivers. You got the Brom father-son combo, coach and offensive coordinator. This team scored ridiculous points last year with Tyler Shugg, and now we're just replacing him with Miller Moss. And I think Moss is just as good, if not better than him. If he can come back to where he was at USC a couple years ago, sky's the limit for this offense. And if they can navigate Eli Holstein on September 27th at Pittsburgh, which will be a tough game, no doubt about it, but they could be looking at 5-0, heading down to Miami off a bye week on a Friday night. If you go into Miami and beat them, we're not sure how good Carson Beck is or what's going on with this Miami team. No one likes to coach.
Yeah.
You could be looking at 6-0. Yeah, there's some tough games down the road, but hey, maybe they make a shot at it with this offense. We'll see. The last team I'll mention, actually,
Clemson, SMU, back-to-back.
Yeah,
That's
we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But hey, if you got a good team and you're rolling, it could be. You never know. That's why it's 100-1.
That's ridiculous. They did that too.
I'll give you 2 more deep long shots. Baylor, 300-1. This team is coming off an injury-riddled first half of the year. They rolled off 5 in a row or 6 in a row to end the season. Sawyer Robinson, electric new quarterback they got running there. And everyone likes Aranda. He's a good coach. They've had a lot of trouble with injuries. The Big 12 is wide open. Baylor starts the season at home against Auburn.
Yeah.
And, it's a tough game, but it's not a conference game. And then they go to SMU, also not a conference game. They have the majority of their tough games at home in conference. I really think this team is going to be really solid due to the fact they're returning 18 starters, 10 on offense. And the quarterback is key. He completed 62% of his passes last year. Just a real team leader. I like Aranda as a coach. 300-1. They sneak into the playoff. You're monetizing that ticket. Last one real quick. I mentioned Mensah at Duke. I got Duke earlier this year at 1,000-1 to win the national championship. Probably not going to happen. But this team is super deep on defense. Loaded secondary and linebackers. Senior-laden guys. And I think Mensah is just going to uplift this offense so much that there's a chance that they can go to Clemson and win that game. You never know. It's a team that I have high hopes for him. I really like the coach, Manny Diaz. He's got that defense humming every year, and I'm just super high on Darian Mensah. Really solid freshman year. Pretty much walked on to Tulane. He was a 4th-string quarterback and won the job. Almost beat Kansas State in week 2. So
should have.
High on Duke and high on Darian Mensah. Those are just some long shot plays I'm looking at.
All right, very good. You had Washington every which way but loose last year in the NFL. What do you think of the Commanders this year?
Everyone's saying there's going to be regression. It's a sophomore jinx. There's not going to be a sophomore jinx with Jaden Daniels. I'm not sure if you probably have heard about it. Maybe all the listeners haven't, but Jaden Daniels runs through film at 1.75 on virtual reality. The guy does not make mistakes. He's super cool as a cucumber. He knows when to duck out of bounds, when to change the play. And I heard you guys talking about going for it on 4th down, and it wasn't a usually high rate of success. I think it was 11 for 13, but they only went for it 13 times during the regular season. And I think with a guy, the head on his shoulders and the ability to move and the rocket arm, and the fact that they picked up Laramie Tunsil, one of the best tackles in NFL football. Say what you want about Deebo Samuel. Maybe he's a little overweight. Maybe he's all done. He's a veteran star. He's been on championship-style teams. I just think this team, they got to sign McLaurin, but I'm super high on them. I think they're gonna win the division over Philadelphia. Wow. I think Philadelphia, granted, they won the Super Bowl. You play extra games. They lost a lot on defense. Sweat leaves. A lot of other guys, a couple secondary guys are gone. They did draft well. They draft a lot of defense. I get it. That they have a great machine running there. The GM, the coach, quarterback, all on the same page. I just think Washington. I just think they have a chance to beat them. I'm not going to be on Philly on many futures. The 3 teams I like the most in the NFC are Washington, the Rams, and San Francisco due to the schedule.
Yes.
I'm going to let Minnesota beat me. I think Detroit lost 2 coordinators and their center. And this year, remember last year, Mitch, we talked about this. Let's go for Goff for MVP. Let's go for Goff for over his touchdowns. Why? Because they only played two games outdoors.
That's right.
This year, which is incredible, because they play half the games at home. They play 7 road games outdoors. So that's going to have an effect. Goff is not the same guy outside as inside. So the 3 teams I like the most, Rams, San Fran due to the schedule, and Washington for the NFC.
Okay, but your number 1 team in the entire NFL comes out of the AFC, and it's Baltimore.
100%. Baltimore pretty much could have, if you go back and look through their schedule last year, they should have gone undefeated. They lost to the Raiders at home as 10-point favorites. They lost to the Browns somehow. And then you were mentioning before the last segment how Andrews drops the ball, which is the most sure-handed guy, and he they would have won that game. So I just feel like Lamar Jackson has just got better. I was not the biggest Lamar Jackson fan, but every year he keeps getting better and better. 41 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. You know what he can do with his legs. You got Henry. The defense, they drafted so well for the defense again. Harbaugh's going to step up his game a little bit. He's been a little shaky lately as a coach, but I really think the Baltimore Ravens, they have a tough schedule early, but I really think they're the number 1 team, and I have them. I played here at Circa Ravens over Commanders. I'm going to be playing a few more Super Bowl exactas with the Ravens, but I played Ravens over Commanders 72-1 at Circa on Monday afternoon.
Yeah, I played Ravens over Rams, because I have the Rams big, right, to win the whole thing. I played Ravens over Rams at 90-1.
Awesome. I like it too. Circa has some really good ones both ways, but if you shop around, some like DraftKings has some better other ways. So might be making the drive out to Arizona. I heard you talk about your Super Bowl ticket with the Rams. I think on the same day, I think we might have been like hanging out or something because we were watching the NCAA tournament. When they were thinking about getting Adams, the rumors broke. Yeah. I grabbed them for NFC at plus 1650. So,
damn.
Yeah.
I'd rather have that than 30-1, honestly, to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So
that's a great number.
Yeah, lucky for that one.
Good job. Edge Boost, the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums. Sean Deeb was talking about it when he was in. Loves it. Card never declined. Get paid for what you love doing, which is betting. Don't wait on that wire and those outrageous fees if you go over your limit. 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today. EdgeBoost.bet code FTM. EdgeBoost.bet code FTM. Deposit 25. Edge Boost will match it. EdgeBoost.bet.
Paulie and I are going to get to the baseball card coming up at the top of the hour. You love betting baseball as well. Do you like anything tonight?
Well, I've been on the Red Sox 7 days in a row, so I did a show this morning, and someone was asking me the handicap on the Red Sox game. I go, there's no handicap. You just bet the Red Sox. Just right now, they've just been on a good run. So I've been on them 7 days in a row. I'm going to be on them tonight. There's some teams, though, that you can look to fade that I think are just trying to get to the All-Star break. And Paul Skeens is pitching tonight, but I think Pittsburgh seems like dead in the water. Rockies seem dead in the water. Yeah. Washington seems dead in the water. The Braves, some tough travel spots. Braves and Texas flying back from the West Coast to the middle of the country. So can I ask you one question?
Go ahead.
Because I know Paulie always does the door number 1, door number 2.
We got like 45 seconds.
Yeah, this is well fitted in. Huh? Door number 1. You have to share a survivor pick with Paul Howard.
Okay.
All the decisions for the year. Or door number 2, you got to eat Matt Human's diet for a month.
Holy Christ. Oh, my God.
That's 5 times a day.
Oh, I actually think I would lean, this is going to kill me. I'd lean actually tag teaming with him.
For the whole year?
I would have to do it. I could not eat like that for a month.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it for a month.
It's not an option.
I could. What would you do?
I don't know, but he'd be going crazy, changing the pick.
Oh my God, it would be a suicide mission with this guy. But I'd take that over Human's diet for a month. There's no way. That's a great question, though.
That was from my buddy Kevin. He goes, "You got to sneak that one in."
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/zip. That's ZipRecruiter.com/zip. ZipRecruiter.com/zip.
This is an ad by Regain Couples Therapy and features real testimonials.
This was our first time trying therapy, and honestly, it was long overdue. Looking back, we just wish we had started sooner.
Regain's qualified therapists help couples when they can't get there on their own.
We thought it was intimacy issues, but Andrea helped us uncover a deeper root cause we hadn't even realized was there.
Visit regain.com/couplespod to get 10% off your first month. Regain, powered by BetterHelp.